The hearing opens with something judges usually love seeing: fast agreement, clean answers, and zero emotional explosions. Yara Coleman stays controlled the entire time. She doesn't over-explain, doesn't volunteer drama, and never tries to turn the courtroom into a relationship argument. That matters more than people realize.
Yara Coleman.
And what's the name of the child on this case?
Kaylee Knight.
And how old is Kaylee?
11.
Okay. And did you hear those terms relating to the agreements between you and Mr. Knight that I read out?
Yes.
And as to those specific terms, are you still in agreement?
Yes.
Okay. And based on Mr. Knight's income, we calculated current child support at $769 per month beginning October 1st. Are you in agreement with that amount?
Yes.
And do you believe it's in the best interest of your child?
Yes.
And is there anything else you want the court to know about your case?
No.
Okay. Okay. And just to clarify on the health insurance, you are wanting to apply for government insurance benefits?
Yes, if I can keep her on it, I'll keep her on it.
Okay. Do you know if you would, does she have that right now or not currently?
No, so it was canceled after the last time we met. So she's
Okay.
just under the COBRA. But if I'm able to keep her on the Medicaid, I will keep her on the Medicaid.
Okay. Thank you. I'll pass the witness. The state calls the father. Sir, will you state your name?
Corey Knight.
And Mr. Knight, did you hear those agreements I read out at the beginning of this hearing?
Yes, I did.
And as to those specific terms, do you still agree?
No, I wasn't. When I talked to the AAG, we talked about a $600
That's not
change.
one of the agreed issues. The agreed issues, the contested issue is child support. So what she's asking you about everything else except for child support and whether you agree to those or not.
Okay, so what am I agreeing to again?
Go ahead.
You are current on your arrears. You don't have anything owed for the past,
no.
correct?
No.
And are you okay with Ms. Coleman applying for government insurance coverage? Are you okay with the child being covered through government insurance?
Not really. Not if I have insurance and they can just use my insurance through my employer. I wouldn't see why we couldn't do that. But I mean,
And does your employer offer insurance?
yes, ma'am.
Would you be able to enroll your daughter in it?
Yes, I can.
Do you know how much it would cost you per month?
No, but I can try to get all the details.
Okay. And you have two other children, correct?
Yes, I have 2 under 2.
Are those two other children enrolled in your works insurance?
They were enrolled in my wife's work insurance, so I haven't seen how the family would be under my employer's insurance.
Okay. And do you understand that for now we'd ask that Medicaid be ordered and that you pay medical support of $125 each month, but that if you do get private insurance and let us know, we can take that amount off?
Yes, that sounds good.
Okay. And you are currently employed and making $6,000 per month, is that right?
No, not with taxes and retirement. I don't see $6,000 a month.
Is $6,000 your gross amount though?
Yes, 6,000 is my gross amount.
Okay. And we confirm you do have two other children, correct?
200 children that go to daycare, and my wife has recently lost her job too. So it's just my income.
And so we calculated child support at $769 each month beginning October 1st. Do you agree or disagree with that amount?
Disagree with that amount.
Okay. And is there a specific amount you're requesting the court set child support at?
I think 600 will be very feasible because I also have Kaylee, and I had Kaylee before this court order was mandated. I had Kaylee way more because I could afford to have Kaylee. With the amount that I'm paying right now and how much is taking out my check, those times I can't get her as much as I want to get her. And then the times that the court order tells me that I can get her, sometimes her mom has stuff that she wants to do that weekend. So then I miss out on getting her for that weekend as well. So it's just I'm paying.
So in a week, on average, how many days do you think that you have possession of your daughter?
3 to 4.
Okay, and when she's with you, is she spending the night with you, or is she coming over after school? What does it look like?
She spends the night through the weekends. On Wednesday, she can come after school or something like that.
Okay, so she's spending every weekend with you, every other weekend?
We try to keep it every weekend.
Okay, so it's almost the end of the month, and in this month in September, how many weekends was she with you?
She's been with me all of the weekends except the weekend that her mom said that she had something to do with her.
Okay, so 3 out of the 4 weekends.
Yes.
All right, and then in August, was it similar?
Yes, it's always been similar.
And remind me how old she is again?
11 years old.
Okay, and when she spends the night with you, are you taking her to school?
It's like I say, it's the weekends. Or if so, we both live in Red Oak. I'll drop her off at her mom's in the morning on my way to work sometimes. But majority of the times, if it's during the week, she'll stay with her mom, and then on the weekends, I'll just pick her up on Friday after her school, so we don't have to worry about the schooling.
Okay, so you'll get her on Friday after school and then bring her back to Miss Coleman on Sunday evening.
Yeah, or Monday morning.
Okay. Is there anything else you want the court to know about your case?
Um, just like I feel like the $600 is way more feasible than paying 800 a month when I'm responsible for three kids instead of just one. Like the amount that I'm paying right now is it's affecting how much I can do for Kaylee within my own household.
Yara's testimony is short, but strategically devastating. She doesn't ramble or attack him personally, she simply shrinks his version of events into something ordinary and predictable. Every other weekend parenting sounds dramatically different from 3 or 4 days a week.
Okay. And just to confirm, you were previously ordered to pay child support at $800 per month, medical support at $215, and dental support at $15. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. I'll pass the witness.
Ms. Coleman, do you share the same kind of summary that Mr. Knight has most of the weekends of each month?
No,
Okay. Is normally or generally.
he will get her every other weekend, and he does not keep her during the week.
Okay. When we saw y'all about a year ago, y'all were kind of splitting possession. When did that change?
When the court order changed, when he was ordered to pay more, he stopped getting her.
Oh, okay. So that would kind of match his testimony today that he wasn't able to afford doing the more visitation.
If that's what he wants to say. But no, because it wasn't stopping nothing at first.
So Mr. Knight just testified out of September, he's had 3 of the weekends of 4. You say that's not true?
No, he had her 2 weekends out of the 4.
Okay, and then what about in August?
About the same 2 weekends out of the 4. He gets her every other weekend, not every weekend.
And then when your child was in school in May, was it the same kind of deal or was it different?
The same kind of deal. He does not get her during the week. It's every other weekend.
Okay. All right. Okay, so we're doing a judgment for child support, medical support, and dental support arrears at 0, so you don't know anything for the past. We're doing government medical for insurance right now. I think you'll find out, Mr. Knight, that your insurance at your school district is going to be crazy expensive. I haven't met a school teacher yet in the state of Texas that has an insurance that's reasonable. It's not your fault, but that's state of Texas, I guess, or the school districts. I don't know who to point fingers at, but when I see people that are teachers, their insurance just to cover kids is usually around $800 a month. Could be worse, could be a little better. And that's just including kids. And then if you include a spouse or you include yourself, you're talking about maybe $1,000 to $1,500 a month. Maybe you have a special situation. I don't know. Maybe there you have that one school district that has a low or reasonable insurance, but it's probably likely that's not true. Uh, when we look at, well, do you want to pay 125 or do you want to pay 800? I think the answer is pretty clear there, but definitely look into it and find out. Like I said, maybe you have that one insurance that's going to be cheaper than $125. And if it is, then go with that. Let's go with the cheaper choice.
Mhm.
But I can tell you from experience that that's not usually the case. But if you already had the
Understood.
other 2 kids that are involved in your case on insurance, then maybe you're like, well, I'm already paying $800 for them. They usually don't charge for extra kids. So once you have one child covered, they will charge you the same price for one as they will for 10. So then that might be different. Maybe you choose, well, I want to have the two I have that live with me on insurance as well. That's something you can consider as well. But like I said, it's not usually very reasonable for teachers. Teachers have the worst insurance of
They're in
everyone in the
retirement.
state.
They're in retirement.
So, so just understand that. But like I said, explore. You might look at the Affordable Care Act and see if that's something that maybe is an option as well. But $125 is pretty cheap from what I see every day. That's a pretty low amount. So I don't think
Okay,
that
I
you're
don't have
gonna.
a problem with the 125.
Excuse me, sir. I'm not having a discussion. I'm entering a ruling. So I'm just trying to explain it to you, but I don't think you're going to get anything cheaper than that. But definitely explore it. I mean, maybe. I mean, we all should all shop for what we have to pay each month. And so if that's something you want to explore, definitely look at that. But 125 is probably going to be very reasonable. As far as court costs are billed to Mr. McKnight, and if I mean we can't do much here. It's not really much of a change from where we were before. We were at 769, I think, in the last order, and that was because I lowered it because you had more possession. And you're telling me in your testimony you're kind of two. I guess I got two stories. One that you're having more visitation than normal, and one that you're not able to do visitation because of the amount of the support. Um, so I don't really know what it is you're trying to tell me.
Can I
What it
clarify?
is.
Can
So
I
I'm
clarify?
setting child support at $800 a month. The visitation is every other weekend. That's what we had talked about in the last order. That's not changing today. And so that'll be what I'm basing it on. I cannot take into account that you have other bills or other kids. That's your choice. I cannot take into account that your wife lost her job. That's not part of this case. It's just a strict child support calculation based on math, and that's where we are. All right. The Attorney General's office will draft an order based on my ruling today, and you'll get a copy by email or letter.
The final ruling exposes the core issue that doomed the father's argument from the beginning: inconsistency. The judge openly says he hears two different stories at once. One claims extensive visitation. The other claims support payments prevent visitation. That contradiction destroys credibility because the court cannot build a clean calculation around unstable testimony. The judge also makes something painfully clear that many parents refuse to accept. Family court does not care whether new children, job losses, or household expenses feel unfair emotionally. The calculation system isolates the child in front of the court first. Everything else becomes secondary noise unless the statute specifically allows consideration. The father keeps trying to humanize the math, but the judge keeps dragging the hearing back into formula territory. By the end, the courtroom feels less like a parenting dispute and more like a collision between emotional reality and a legal system designed to ignore most of it.